The future, right? It can feel incredibly uncertain, like this giant, foggy unknown that's just impossible to plan for. But what if I told you there was a structured way to think about it? A way to actually make yourself more resilient for whatever life throws at you? Well, that is exactly the powerful idea we're going to dive into. You know that feeling, don't you? That little knot in your stomach? Whether it's a huge project at work, a potential career move, or just, life in general. That nagging sense that you could get completely blindsided by something unexpected. It is a major source of stress for so many of us. So, in the business world, they actually have a formal process for dealing with all this uncertainty. It's called risk management. I know, it sounds super corporate and stuffy, but at its heart, it's really just about looking ahead for potential problems and figuring out a game plan. And we're going to borrow a brilliant little tool from this exact discipline and apply it to our own lives. And this tool, it isn't something that's locked away in a boardroom. Nope, it's a simple, really effective technique that you can start using to future-proof your own life, like today. It's called scenario planning. And honestly, it's less of a complicated strategy and more of a powerful shift in your mindset for how you deal with the unknown. So, what is it exactly? Well, scenario planning is pretty much the practice of imagining multiple possible futures, not just the one you hope for or the one you're terrified of, and then you prepare responses for each one. The crucial thing here is that it's not about predicting the future, because let's be real, who can do that? It's about preparing for possibilities. So how does it actually work? You might be surprised by just how simple this is. I mean, it really just boils down to two fundamental parts. That's it. Seriously, just 2 steps. First, you imagine. You let your mind wander and explore the what-ifs. What if you get that promotion? Awesome. But also, what if you don't? What if some new tech totally shakes up your job? Then, for each of those key scenarios, you prepare. You think through actual, concrete actions. What new skills would you need to learn? What resources could you start gathering right now? Who would you need to have a conversation with? And the difference this makes is, wow, it's profound. Without this kind of planning, we're stuck in reactive mode. Something unexpected happens, and bam, we're hit with a wave of stress, we make rush decisions, we feel totally overwhelmed. But when you've done scenario planning, you get to shift into a proactive mindset. You've already done the heavy lifting, the hard thinking, so you can stay calm, you can think clearly, and you can move forward with actual confidence. And this whole proactive approach, well, it leads to the ultimate benefit. This is the real goal of the entire exercise. It's not about guessing the future correctly, it's about what you build inside yourself along the way. This right here is the key takeaway. This practice makes you resilient to uncertainty, and not just in big, scary projects at work, but in life itself. It becomes this universal skill for navigating the unknown, and it scales from your Monday morning meeting all the way up to your 5-year life plan. So what does this resilience thing actually feel like? Well, it means when things inevitably change, you adapt way faster because you're not starting from scratch. You make much better decisions when you're under pressure because you've already thought through the possibilities. You know that low-level hum of anxiety about the future? It gets a whole lot quieter. And maybe most importantly, you build a genuine confidence in your own ability to handle whatever comes your way. Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Now, let's talk about how you can actually put this into action for yourself. The entire process, building that resilience, moving from that reactive to a proactive state of mind, it all gets kicked off by asking yourself a single, super simple question. So I'll leave you with this. What future will you prepare for first? Just pick one area of your life, one possible scenario, and just start thinking through it. That simple act is the very first step toward building real, lasting resilience.